Hi, my name is Katie Jones. I'm part of the class of 2020, so I recently graduated. And during my time at Lasell, I was president of the Student Alumni Association for 2 years. I was an RA, an OL. I worked in the alumni office for 4 years. So to graduate, sad to see it go, but I'm on to my next step, which I'll be going to Boston College this fall to study higher education administration. So really excited. Today I'm with some alums, Ben and Kayla, and although I'm a decade apart from the both of you with graduating, I know you guys entered a similar job marketing search as I am, fairly similar, but as successful as individuals today you are, would you guys be able to share your experiences with the class of 2020 and how you guys were able to maneuver the job hunt when you graduated from Lasell? So now I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves.
Sure. Thanks so much for the intro and congrats on the graduation. And exciting to you're going to BC, so not so far down the road. I remember it well, going to those football games. So quick intro on me. My name is Ben Segal. Graduated Lasell in 2009. I was a sport management major. I was there for 4 years. After leaving, went on to work in sports for some time. I worked for the Yankees, Mets, Patriots, Bruins, MSG, Barclays Center, then went to the Bronx Zoo. And for the last 3+ years, I've been managing customer experience at Freshly, which is a pretty cool company that you can see behind me here. We ship ready-made meals to people's homes on a weekly subscription. So I started there as a supervisor and worked my way all the way up to an associate director. So that's my 2-second background, and I love my time at Lasell.
So it's my turn now. So my name is Kayla Speed, but when I was at Lasell, I was known as Kayla Mckenna, and I was part of the cross-country and track team. I did Ninos to Veracruz. I also worked in the alumni office. I did phone-a-thons, so I was really involved in the community there. I graduated in 2009 with a degree in graphic design and fine arts. And currently now I work at Wayfair. I'm the senior art director for the B2B side of the business. And prior to that, I was in advertising pretty much for the whole beginning of my career. So I worked at Hill Holiday, Agency 451, which is now known as Zosimus. And before that, I was at North Shore Magazine.
So you guys kind of just gave me a little bit of what you have done since graduating, but could you tell me your very first job that you got post Lasell?
Sure. I'll go again. So just after leaving Lasell, I had done an internship with the Boston Bruins my senior year at Lasell, and I did like my pre-practicum with the New England Patriots. And those two jobs and the bosses that I had there led to some summer work immediately in 2009 to work with the Yankees and the Mets. So coming back home to New York, I had part-time jobs at both. So like you mentioned, coming out, it was difficult to get a full-time job right away. But I thought getting in the door with those larger teams and getting right into a season immediately would be helpful. So jumped in with the Yankees and Mets and alternated every other week working with them because they were never home at the same time. Yankees won the World Series that year, so I wound up getting a World Series ring like the very first year out of college, which was crazy, being part of the '09 Yankees. So that was pretty cool.
And as for me, I actually fell into nannying immediately, like straight out of college. And I think that gave me a lot of time to focus on freelancing and really focus on building my portfolio to get it even more prepared for more like those really big girl jobs. You know, I wanted to be in advertising so bad. And I think if I didn't have those few years of buffer before really diving in and focusing on freelancing, I don't think I would have been able to get those jobs. So I think just diving in creatively afterwards and doing my own art explorations really, really helped me.
And did you guys ever consider enrolling into grad classes after graduating instead of looking for a full-time job?
I did, and I took some grad classes at Lasell online. So while I was doing the work with, there you go, while I was with the Yankees and Mets, I did spend time taking online classes to get a MSM with Lasell.
I think I definitely would have thought about grad school if I wasn't freelancing as much as I was. So I felt like I was getting a lot of real world experience from freelancing, and it was kind of setting me up for my future career. So I think at that point I wasn't really considering it, and I might consider it further down the road in my career. Definitely.
So what advice could you give the 2020 graduates while looking for jobs right now?
Yeah. So my advice is like start building experiences that are going to make you stand out as a really unique person. And that doesn't always mean like have great job experiences. Like Kayla just said, getting into like nannying. Like if I'm hiring people and someone said that, I would probably value that more than someone who said they went out of college and started working in like a CX operation immediately and they know how to do Zendesk tickets. It's much more impressive to me to find out that parents trust you with their kids. And then I would get into questions about like what sort of games did you have to invent? How do you fill the time there? And like that would show creativity and imagination. And those are things you can't teach. And so as a hiring manager, and someone who's been in that role for some time now, I constantly look for awesome people, great humans. So when someone comes in and they said, well, me and my friends created a board game and we invented that. I was like, why'd you do that? I was like, oh, we were bored and we wanted to do something fun. So we made this really cool board game. I immediately like that person and want to hire that person more than the person who came in and said, I spent the last 10 years at KPMG and I know how to write a really good memo. That's impressive sometimes, but I find it much more impressive to be an awesome human. And so there's nothing stopping you from doing all of those things now and building a really incredible, thought-provoking resume that doesn't necessarily have to have big name companies on there and full-time jobs. So do all of that as much as you can and start thinking about what's the story I'm going to tell when I get into that interview room, and how am I going to be an awesome human and stand up and really jump off the page.
Yeah, I completely agree with Ben. I think it's really learning how to spin what experience you do have into whatever roles that you're applying for. Crafting your cover letter and resume to really speak to kind of what skills you've learned that make you unique to a certain position that you're applying for. I also think just staying inspired, no matter what career you're in, always stay motivated. And even if you don't have a job right now, and you're an and you want to be an art director, make your own projects, make your own brand online, like make a new coffee brand and build the logo, build the brand book, build the website. And that's a very tangible story to tell in your portfolio. So you can use this time to be really proactive to learn new skills.
Yeah, there's also like no shortage of ways for you to go and like start making content and like building your own brand. Like Kayla said, like go on Medium, go write a story, go talk about the experience of graduating in 2020. There's going to be a bunch of people that want to know how that affected you. Go on LinkedIn, write an article and just post it. It doesn't matter who's going to read it. You're building a portfolio of really cool things that you did. You're becoming that storyteller, and that will be what people were going to find about you. And you will be just as impressive as someone who had some other full-time job that graduated last year.
Thank you for that advice. Definitely going to take that. Now, looking back, is there anything that you guys would have done differently post-graduation?
So all the things that I just said, I didn't do. So I would have gone back and I would have really made myself stand off a little bit more. I thought that I needed those big names, so I jumped and took part-time work with the Yankees and the Mets, and that was for sure helpful. But I only started writing articles and things on LinkedIn or Medium like last year, and starting to view myself as like, what is my brand and how can I get my own stuff out there, and I don't need a job to go and create content or build your own site, things like that. So I would have done that. And also in as far as Lasell, I would have gotten a lot more involved earlier on in much more things on campus and done more things there. There was so much opportunity for just career growth early on. I could have started working with Lasell Athletics easily, and just didn't take advantage of that stuff. That I look back and I'm like, I could have had this experience. Everyone is like, well, where's your experience? Where's your experience? And I passed up an opportunity that I probably, looking back, could have taken advantage of, and potentially, leapfrog a year or two earlier in my career than having to go build that up outside of Lasell.
Looking back on when I graduated, I probably would have started paying off my loans sooner, to be quite honest. My mom was always like, start paying them when you're in college. And I was like, I'll be fine. And then I went to Thailand after I graduated, and didn't pay them right away. So I definitely would have done that. But as far as my career and nannying, and I traveled a lot, so I wouldn't change that for the world. I think I took advantage of my time not in the advertising world and design world to just really focus on myself and hone in on kind of what I wanted to do. And I think the people I met and the experiences I made kind of made me the person and the designer that I am today. Always value your connections with your professors. Every internship you have, stay connected with everybody. I'm still really close with Professor Fisher at Lasell, and a bunch of people in the art department there. So he's helped me get a bunch of my jobs. So definitely stay close to your professors.
So now I'm curious, what has been your biggest obstacles in your career so far, and how did you guys overcome that?
Yeah. So I worked in a lot of venues, right? Sports entertainment venues, and leaving that to go to an e-commerce world, which is a lot of startups today. I had the experience of working with customers, and I had a decade worth coming into Freshly. But as I got into the startup world, there was a lot of tech that I really didn't understand. So I was faking it for a bit. In all these meetings, they're saying SDK, API, what's the JSON file? I was like, I don't know what he's saying. I didn't take any of those classes. So what I saw as an obstacle was getting over that tech hurdle and trying to understand those things. So I found General Assembly in New York, and I'm sure there's other places all around the world. And I went and got certified as a product manager. And I think that allowed me to sort of level up. So when you come to an obstacle and you're like, wait, I don't know how to do that, or I don't understand that, seeing what sort of resources are out there, what other educational things you can do or take to go and really not just get through it, but own that. So now I really am on top of that. And I would recommend taking that approach.
Definitely second what Ben said. Take advantage of General Assembly, everything like that, to really set you up for success. Even if you're not doing grad school or anything, General Assembly classes are amazing. My personal experience, I think the thing I struggled with the most was maybe really different personalities that you work with, especially as you work your way up, you become a manager, and you maybe learn from people that you've worked with that kind of had toxic behaviors, and never feel like you have to stick in a job that has a toxic environment, and you can always choose to leave that if it's not changing or things aren't shifting the way you really want your career to be going. And 9 times out of 10, a new door will open and you're going to see an amazing opportunity behind it. So that's my biggest advice. Don't let that hold you back.
And now, what has been your greatest career accomplishments to date?
That is a tough one. Done a lot of really cool things, really proud of a lot. But I think if I had to pick one, I as I was thinking about this, there's 13 people that started working for me at different companies at different times in frontline roles, part-time, wages, that are currently in management roles. And I think that looking back at anything I've done, nothing makes me happier than that. And those are the proudest days, when you can see someone who was coming to you for advice, you're having those one-on-ones, and fast forward a year or 2 years, they're now in that role as what I was, and they're managing people and they're hiring people. That makes me feel like it's all worth it. So I'm up to 13. I hope to keep growing that number, and I'm most proud of that.
You sound like a really good manager, Ben.
I try.
I think for me, in the design world, you you kind of have these really tangible accomplishments. It's like, oh, we won a pitch, we did this. So being a part of the pitch team at Hill Holiday, that was amazing. Like we won a series of like huge clients, which was super rewarding to be a part of that. I've won a few branding awards, but I think my biggest career accomplishment would be just the role I have at Wayfair now. I'm in love with my job there. I love the people I work with. I love my team. And just learning how to navigate this new realm of design I've never dipped my toes in before. So it's every day is like a new experience there. And it was scary to take the jump to take the job, but I'm super happy.
Wayfair seems like a great company too. We have a bunch of people at Freshly that are from Wayfair. They're like the smartest people in the company. So it's a very impressive place to work.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There are some very, very smart people there. So I feel kind of honored to be part of that Wayfair club, you know.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to answer my questions. I think it's super helpful to my class because right now we're kind of in a time of like, we're lost and confused and don't know what to do. So just to like hear that taking a step back and working on ourselves and like personal development is probably the best thing that we can do from the advice you've given. So again, thank you. So now I'm going to turn it over to Gigi. Gigi, could you discuss how Lasell can support not only the class of 2020 and other recent grads, but all 17,000 alumni?
Thank you, Katie. So when you ask what resources we can be providing to you, I always like to start off by saying when I email you and start off the email by stating we're your Lasell family and your Lasell family is here for you, we truly mean that. From if you're an 09, 08, 1957 alum to a 2020 grad, we are here to support you. And with saying that, of course, we need the programs to back that up. So our career development team that you may have worked with as a student or not is a lifetime support line for you. So helping with career job searches or looking for resume help and a second set of eyes to be editing that cover letter that you've looked over 87 times and you just need that fresh set of, opinion. That's what the career development is there for. In addition to mock interviews, basically the whole line of finding the job to accepting a job offer, the career development can support you in any way. In addition, the alumni office, one of my favorite parts of my job is making connections. And if you are ever looking for a job, say at Wayfair or somewhere in Boston or even in California, and you let me know of the company, we will do our search to see if we do have alumni within that company and try to make that connection of finding about the company culture. That might even be the first step and having an interview with them that way, just learning about that, because that's also very important when you're looking for jobs. I think Kayla touched upon that as well. So we're here to help you make connections. We also have the alumni directory, which is an exciting new benefit that we just launched. And that will be basically a whole database of alums in their employment history, or at least current employment, I should say. And we will have that contact information. And like how I said that we could help connect alums, this is just another system where you can actually do it yourself and find alums throughout different companies and reach out to them on your own. But please never hesitate to reach out to myself or other teammates within the alumni office because we are here to support. So thank you all so much for your time. It was extremely beneficial. And Katie, best of luck with your new career. And you know we're here for you along the journey. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.